Alrighty, guys, one of the big principles that I preach on this channel and in life, just not just YouTube, but in life in general, context is key. Context is key to understanding the full picture of what's going on, and taking things in a vacuum is rarely a good idea because there are always nuances and there are always things that are going on behind the scenes to lead to these moments. So, context is going to be very important as we even talk about this story at all. The fact that Gwyneth Paltrow said something about Marvel, that's not really a story in itself, except for one thing, and a couple theories that I have coming out of it. So that's why we're talking about this story, that Gwyneth Paltrow seems to have hinted at an MCU return. So apparently, right, according to some reports, that she was in, I think she was at Brown, I want to say, the university, and she was doing some interviews, and I guess she was asked about her future, or her future projects in general. So she was not asked about Marvel specifically. But to answer that question, this is what she had to say. Very simple. She said, quote, "I might be in another Marvel movie." Again, that's the quote. That's the last quote. Last time we saw her, by the way, was in Avengers Endgame. She is alive. The character is alive in the MCU, and so is her daughter, Morgan Stark. So the character is there. But the last time we saw her was in Avengers Endgame, and she was referenced in Spider-Man Far From Home very briefly by Happy Hogan. But the character is still very much within the MCU. So, again, that single quote in itself, not really a headliner, except for the context surrounding it. Gwyneth Paltrow, if you've been following movie news for a while now, you'll know that Gwyneth Paltrow, when she says something about Marvel, she's almost entirely completely honest, because oftentimes she has no idea what Marvel project she's even in. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I don't blame her, right? If you're not super locked in, like if you're not Tom Holland or Zendaya or, I don't know, Paul Rudd or whoever, super ingrained in the MCU, then yeah, it's hard to know. And especially if you're one of those characters that pops in and out of different movies, then of course it's hard to tell exactly what movie you're in. I think at one point she was like, was I in Spider-Man? Of course she was. She was in Spider-Man Homecoming. But if you are just filming scenes here and there, you filmed a quick scene for Spider-Man Homecoming and then you're in Infinity War, it's like, how would you know? That totally makes sense. How would you know? So Gwyneth Paltrow, it's almost been funny every single time she talks about the MCU because she's like, I don't know what I'm in. I have no idea what I was in. And I think at one point post-Endgame, she was like, yeah, I mean, sure, if there's another thing, but no, I'm pretty much done, right? A lot of actors post-Endgame said very similar things. Actually, Robert Downey Jr. said very similar things. So that is why when she says, I might be in another Marvel movie, I take that pretty seriously. I think Gwyneth Paltrow is one of those actors and actresses who, generally speaking, when she says something about Marvel, she's not trying to hide anything because she's just saying what she is in. And I don't know if Marvel's PR loves that, but that's been my impression based on what we've heard from her over the past few years. So that's one thing, right? That is one thing to consider, is that I would give it extra weight. I would give it a little bit extra weight if she says she's going to be in another Marvel movie. But here's the other big kicker, right? I mentioned that I have a couple theories, or maybe one big theory, as to why I really put weight into this. When she says this, right, let's just say, let's look ahead to the Marvel slate, even all the unannounced release dates and just movies that are floating around without release dates thus far. Let's look ahead and just kind of see, where could she possibly be showing up? Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day, maybe. Maybe Happy's in the movie. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she has some connection with Peter Parker. Doubtful. Really doubtful, honestly. I think this is going to be a very disconnected Spider-Man movie from the rest of that Tony Stark legacy, rather, not from the MCU, right, because Punisher and Hulk, but from the Tony Stark side of things. So I don't think she's going to show up in there. Gonna skip the next two films, but I mean, Doctor Strange, right? Doctor Strange 2, Shang-Chi 2, Black Panther 3, X-Men. Do we see Pepper Potts showing up in any of those movies? I don't think so. But I would say, from a writing perspective, not even Secret Wars. Secret Wars, I don't even know what's going to happen with that movie. I would be shocked, honestly, if she's in it or has a significant role in it. But I have to say, if I were a writer, and now we're entering pure speculation, but I do think, paired with her comments saying that she might be appearing in another MCU movie or another Marvel movie, this makes, I think, too much sense. She has to appear in Avengers Doomsday as Pepper Potts. Because you're bringing back, and granted, we don't know what the rationale is for bringing back Robert Downey Jr., other than obviously money and other than, bringing a familiar face to the MCU and iconic and all that kind of stuff. But story-wise, we don't know yet, as of the recording of this segment, why Robert Downey Jr. had to be Doctor Doom. Is it a variant thing? Is Doctor Doom in that universe a variant of Tony Stark? Is it a face-swapping thing? Is it him trying to capture the hearts of people so that they recognize him as Iron Man and so that he can manipulate them? Maybe. But if they are going to use the fact that it is Tony Stark's face on Doctor Doom, which the Russo brothers have indicated there is a good reason why this is happening, it is just a cataclysmically enormous missed opportunity if you do not have a scene with this version of Doctor Doom and with Pepper Potts. Because I just think the emotional weight of the person that Tony Stark loved the most in the world, Pepper Potts, and even Morgan Stark, if there's a grown-up Morgan Stark in the universe now, maybe Catherine Langford comes back to play that role. It would be such a big missed opportunity if Doctor Doom does not come face-to-face with Pepper Potts, because that is one of the easiest and I think most significant ways you can ground this story in stakes, right? The idea that the biggest threat to the multiverse is somebody that people around the Avengers are so hesitant to fight because he looks like their greatest hero. It is, I think, Pepper Potts is the easiest way, the easiest character to drive that message home. Do I think that Doctor Doom needs to kill her or needs to kill Morgan? No. I mean, he very well might, and that might be even more devastating. But no, I even a face-to-face scene between the two of them, I think is going to carry it's going to carry all the baggage of 12 or 13 years or however many years that Gwyneth Paltrow was in the MCU. I don't remember, like 10, 11, 12, 13 years. It's going to carry all of that weight and all of that into that scene. And I think the audience is going to feel it. So that's my thought on that, is that if Gwyneth Paltrow is saying that she's going to come back in a Marvel movie, I would tend to believe her. And wouldn't you know it, I think that it just makes too much sense for her to appear in Avengers Doomsday. So I would be shocked, honestly. She's worked with the Russos. She worked with them on Infinity War. She worked with them on Endgame. I think that she's going to be coming back. Guys, what do you think? Do you think Pepper Potts has any kind of role in an upcoming MCU movie? And which one do you think it is? Let me know in the comments down below.